Welcome to SBJ's Executive Insight. I'm Abe Madkour. We are here at SBJ's Tech Week, and I am joined today by Matt Ryter, Vice President of North American Sales for Genius. And good to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
So you've been at Genius for 4 years. What have you seen in terms of the transformation of the company and also sports acceptance of data?
Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed in the 4 years I've been at Genius, and a lot of excitement, I'd say. I came in at a very unique time to our business. We just went public in April of 21.
Okay.
I joined about 2 months after that. It was a convergence of all these other companies that we were acquiring after going public and sitting on some capital and making some really smart strategic investments. Everything from a DCO technology to help funnel our media business, a free-to-play business that we acquired. And then I know a lot of what we want to talk about today was a business we acquired that was called Second Spectrum, which is really our augmentation business. But the adoption of data is crucial in everything we do. It's obvious with our sports betting partners, but now our media and tech relationships, our brand partnerships, and it's the fundamental layer of everything that we're doing here.
Now, but talk about what Second Spectrum, because Second Spectrum, I just was blown away by when it was first introduced years ago.
Sure.
And then what has that done to your business?
Yeah, I mean, it's adopted into something we're calling GeniusIQ,
Right.
which, Abe, I know you wanted to talk about as well, but it's the storytelling of what we could use. You know, previously it's been used for officiating and coaching solutions in the NBA, which is still a core part of our business in GeniusIQ. But now the adoption into the media sector of GeniusIQ to create new storytelling, data overlays, and new innovative ad formats is really what I think is exciting now, which we didn't probably see 4 years ago as well.
Right. And specifically, Matt, talk about what exactly those manifestations are that you're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple big wins and
right.
big partnerships, especially in Q4 of last year, with a partnership we had with EA Sports and Peacock called MaddenCast, a partnership we had with our friends at Warner Brothers Discovery, with the 2K Data Altcast as well. So those were transformational, I would say, in terms of where we want to take GeniusIQ in the future, and then iterate off of the success of those two partnerships in particular.
And then when you're looking at a viewer perspective, you're seeing just a lot of overlays of data in these alt casts, which really just make the more engaged.
Yeah, and I think it's a new way to speak to fans, right? From a broadcast and streaming perspective, to have different storytelling. It might be, I'm a data nerd and I want to watch all these unique experiences, talk about field goal percentage, separation from a defender in basketball, or how fast Tyreek Hill is running down the field. Like that is really a unique way in a hardcore to, or is there we talk to our friends at the NFL a lot about doing sort of an international feed and breaking down football to educate international markets. And I think that there's a lot of different ways, and it's going from a one-to-many experience with live sports down to a more personalized one-to-one viewing experience.
And personalization is where we're all going toward eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And talk about, like, for the brand side, if I'm a brand side listening to this, what does the GeniusIQ allow them to do that they couldn't do?
I mean, I think it's, assuming you're a sports fan, I'm a sports fan, right? Yeah. It's surrounding those moments that matter. And I think like having that brand affinity that is surrounding sports in an unpredictable fashion. As much as people joke that's the NFL or sports is scripted, it's unscripted, right? From March Madness to NBA playoffs, the NFL playoffs, like there's these moments that matter. And if the data can influence that, because it's coming into our system and our engine and our GeniusIQ, and then we're creating an output that is not only meaningful for fans, but then also meaningful for brands, and you're putting those two together, that becomes a really powerful.
So from the brand perspective, you're having a very engaged viewer who's going to be seeing great content, but also branding around it, which is a very immersive experience. Really.
Very immersive experience. And it's new and innovative, right? And these ad formats haven't existed in the past. Right. Could be an incremental revenue stream for a league or a broadcaster, but then it's a way for brands to get smarter to surround live sports, which is really hard to do. And GeniusIQ, because it's set up to literally, like, we've been teaching GeniusIQ hours upon hours upon hours of live sports video to be able to actually adapt to what's happening in real time, and to be able to have that's really hard to do. And then to be able to have that brand experience that's powered with it, you're almost predicting the unpredictable in that sense.
And Matt, chime in here, because I find that teams, leagues are much more open about using data to do storytelling for the viewer, for the fans. And so that's I would say, a priority for them right now.
It is, and whether that's through a regional sports network, whether that's through a national telecast game, whether that's through in stadium, there's a lot of different ways to do it in a meaningful way, and then to also just to create these stories to reach a new audience, like to get these audiences in, whether that is a 101 of what the sport is, whether that is a player ID map that we put a lot, whether that's on the pitch, on the field, on the court. So now you're getting to know the names of the individuals. Like, I don't watch sports as much as I used to when I was younger. I got 2 young kids, and sometimes I don't know the full roster of an NBA lineup or the full roster of who's on the field with 11 man in NFL, and now with the player locators too. And because the data that we have, we're tracking the XY coordinates of every player on the field, we can then educate the audience of who's on the court, who's on the field, who's on the pitch.
So I'm a hardcore Patriot fan. So if I was able to watch certain tendencies for a hardcore fan,
absolutely,
tackles, shifting, going to the left, going to their right, what's the the throw that this quarterback makes most successfully or frequently, that's pretty fascinating in terms
time
of
and pocket.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of ways that you can extrapolate that. As we look forward, Matt, where do you see data? Where do you see things going forward?
You said personalization before, Abe, and I think that's it. I think it's scaling that one-to-one partnership and having that unique way of watching sports. Like if I want to watch a game with my father and my son who's 6, like maybe my father wants to watch the national broadcast. Maybe I want to watch a fantasy or a betting mode, and maybe my son wants to watch a Slime Vision Nickelodeon-esque thing. And we're all sitting down and we're watching the same game, but we're having a different experience. And I think that allowing the data to help fuel some of that stories, allowing GeniusIQ to help fuel that personalization is the future.
And of Genius, that's a priority, obviously.
It's a huge priority.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being with us on SBJ's Executive Insight. Matt and I are here at SBJ's Tech Week. That was an Executive Insight with Matt Ryter, who is Vice President of North American Sales for Genius. We'll talk to you down the road.